Well, thank you all very much for attending. That's extremely good of you. Again, just to confirm, my name is Kenneth Bannerman. I'm the head of the Airfields of Britain Conservation Trust, which is the world's first national airfield charity. And we're delighted to be here in Cambridgeshire to unveil this memorial to Oakington Airfield and all the people who served at them. Now, first of all, I'll hand you over to Mr. Dean Harris of Homes England, who'd like to say some words.
Thank you, Kenneth. Welcome to Northstowe House and Northstowe, formerly RAF Oakington. As has been said, I'm Dean from Homes England. Homes England own the former airfield and are overseeing its future development to become part of the new community of Northstowe. It's really great to see so many people in attendance today. We have members of 7 Squadron Association, the Royal British Legion, local historical societies, councillors, including Henry Batchelor, portfolio holder for communities at the District Council, and our own town mayor, Northstowe Town Mayor, Paul Littlemore. Very pleased you're able to join us today. Northstowe is a new town with history, and that history is important to Homes England, including the relatively recent history of the site and its contribution to the war effort in World War II. This was the entrance to RAF Oakington. The site was home to 7 Squadron and synonymous with the short Stirling plane, among others. There are people here with much greater knowledge of the history of this airfield, and I would encourage you to talk to them and consider joining the Longstanton and District Heritage Society to further explore your interest. From what I've been told, Oakington has connections with the Great Escape. Kenneth, I hope I'm not stealing your lines here. And King Charles learned to fly here. He celebrated his 21st birthday here at RAF Oakington. We've tried to respect the history of the site within the new town. The line of the main runway is marked within our master plan. We've earmarked the officers' mess behind me here for conversion to a primary school. And in the last week, we've started work on a number of listed Oakington pillboxes. These are the pillboxes. There's one along Rampton Road. Easy to miss because it's mainly underground. There's a concrete cap on it. We're conserving these for the future by converting them to bat roosts. Homes England's association with the Airfield of Britain Conservation Trust goes back 6 years now. That's the first time Kenneth picked up the phone to me and discussed the idea of installing a memorial here. So it's really been a long time in the making. Kenneth has worked tirelessly to make sure all airfields are recognised appropriately. It's a lifetime's work and an incredible legacy. We're very proud to be part of that legacy. As Northstowe grows, I hope future generations will see the memorial, remember the contribution of the airfield and all those that served here. Thank you.
Sure.
Stand up then. John, Harry, stand up.
Well, I'll just give the usual potted history of Oakington Airfield and why all this matters at a far bigger picture level. The story goes back to the start of June 1938, when the land was provisionally selected for development as an airfield. Oakington, even by British airfield standards, is a particularly famous airfield in Britain. Very distinguished as well. Eventually, the airfield opened at the start of July 1940. It was developed as what was called an expansion period airfield. So visually the giveaways are these brick built buildings, as you can see around here, for example. Although it didn't open until after World War II started. So it was in a way a hybrid of an expansion and austerity period airfield. Anyhow, once the airfield finally got going, a number of bomber squadrons were based here, such as numbers 101, 218, 571, 627 squadrons. But by far and away the most famous wartime unit here was number 7 squadron. This was the first short Stirling heavy bomber squadron in the RAF, and it came from famous Yorkshire airfield Leaming to Oakington at the end of October 1940 and stayed until moving elsewhere in Cambridgeshire to Meeple, where incidentally we unveiled a memorial there back in 2019 in July 1945. And it's fair to say that the Stirling is particularly associated with Oakington, and that famous bomber design lasted here until May to August 1943, when number 7 squadron re-equipped with Avro Lancasters. Unbelievably brave, as of course all units and personnel were serving here and at other airfields in Britain. And you will see, in conjunction with our good friends the number 7 Squadron Association, we've paid a special dedication to that unit, as you'll see in the inscription just in a few moments. After World War II, Oakington then transferred to RAF Transport Command for a few years, and you had several Dakota squadrons based here, and they participated in the Berlin airlift. Then there was another RAF command change at the end of 1950 when Flying Training Command took over, and this lasted until Oakington finally closed in March 1975 when the airfield transferred to British Army control. The main unit laterally, as many people will still remember, at least when it comes to aircraft, was number 5 Flying Training School, which initially flew Gloucester Meteors and De Havilland Vampires for jet fighter pilot training. And then come the early 1960s, the unit switched to flying mainly Vickers Varsity aircraft for multi-engine training. And the airfield made a huge difference to everyday society. Sad to say, towards the end, 1 or 2 people were unfortunately complaining about the noise from 1 or 2 aircraft, which was rather disappointing, one has to say. But the airfield, like any of our airfields in Britain, played the most enormous part in revolutionising everyday society for the betterment of all. As I've said, the airfield was transferred to the British Army in March 1975. The Army then pulled out in 1999. Then there was for a while the Asylum Seeker Holding Centre here, until of course the house building plans were devised from round about 2002, according to our research anyhow. So a lot of the airfield is now disappeared. I mean, if the landing area just in that general direction, a lot of that is now gone. But this airfield, although it's been disused in a dictionary sense for now 50 years, it is still enormously relevant for every single one of us, not just locally, but in Britain and indeed the whole world as a whole. And therefore, as we say in our travels, within reason, please do all you possibly can to help Britain's airfields, both active and, like here, now at Oakington, disused. Because enough to say, and this is easily provable, we just cannot remotely afford to lose our airfields in all sorts of ways. It's almost a bit like a motto with our charity: jobs, facilities and services. Just so easy to prove. So just do all you possibly can to help both the airfield and not forgetting all the incredibly brave and dedicated people who have served here, and in turn not forgetting their families. It's the very least they deserve. So rest assured, with what ABCT, our national charity, does, we are pulling out all the absolute stops imaginable and trying to do everything we can to support Britain's airfields. Essentially, we trying to help save airfields. We erect memorials, naturally helping people. You'd be amazed at the inquiries we get. And also it's carrying out very deep level research into Britain's airfields, but not just to do with their histories. Thankfully Oakington is quite well documented, but there's always a hidden history, but also their everyday phenomenal social impact. They are so important, it's almost untrue. So thank you very much again for your time, and thanks as well to Dean and all his colleagues at Home England for all your assistance as well. And therefore we are delighted to be able to unveil our latest memorial to yet another of Britain's absolutely priceless physical and historical assets. In this case, the one and only, the truly legendary Oakington Airfield. Thank you all very much.
I'll get it back. Anyone willing to be in a photo? Hillary, you're mandatory. Murray, you're not really optional either. Anyone else who'd like to be in a photo? So you must be in a photo. It's optional, but we'd like to. Katie, can you take a picture with this gentleman? Can I get a colleague to take a picture so you can be in the picture? Is that okay? Sophie, you can be in it. Yeah.